Okay, good afternoon, or I don't know, good morning, everybody. I'm Eric Roussel, CEO of OpenBash Factory, and I will have the pleasure today to tell you about the 3.0 standard, OpenBash standard in general, and how we have implemented it in OpenBash Factory, and what does it mean for you as users of OpenBash Factory, or if you are not users of OpenBash Factory, what it could mean for you. And at the end of the presentation, I will also tell you about further developments in OpenBash Factory and OpenBash Passport. Okay, so let's start. First of all, if everybody doesn't know exactly about who we are, what is OpenBash Factory, our history is that we have been involved in the OpenBash movement from 2012, from the very beginning, with at the time I would say of the Mozilla Foundation, and we have always been early adopters of the standard. So before I tell you about our journey, I could say that we are, I would say, in my opinion, a major player on the market. We are a Finnish company based in Oulu, but we have partners in France, Canada, Japan, Argentina, and customers in more than 60 countries. So to get back on our product and what we are doing with the 3.0, so we have two platforms. As you know, probably OpenBash Factory, which is a platform that you can use for creating, issuing, and managing badges. And we have the OpenBash Passport, which is a platform that you can use that badge recipients can use for receiving the badges, to basically enrich the badges, create micro portfolios, and get endorsed by peers. So OpenBash Passport is not only, I would say, a backpack, or we will speak also about the wallet. It's not only a backpack, it's also a community feature. It's a community space where you can scaffold different kind of learning activities. Okay, so with the experience that we have starting in 2012, what I can say about the evolution of open badges in general is that the 3.0 is something I would say very special. If you think back to the standard, the first version of the standard, it was I would say nearly a proof of concept. It was a quick I would say development for getting the OpenBash concept roll up, in action. And quite quickly, I think 1 or 2 years after the development of the version number 1, One EdTech, which is the community, which is the organization, standard organization in the US, which basically coordinate the development of the standard, developed the version number 2 of the standard. So what is interesting in the version 2 that has been used until now, I think that more than 6 years, is that the version 2 is basically more structure. It's give more, I would say, fields for the metadata. It's a stronger standard, and it corrects also some lack that we had in the version number 1, but it didn't really change a lot. So let's say that the version 1 and the version 2 are in the same line. There is no, I would say, shift. There is nothing really new. With the new version of the standard, the version 3.0, we are going to, I would say, a new dimension. So it's really, we have something really important now in the development of open badges. So I will explain you more in details a bit later. For users, I don't know, the first question is always, okay, OpenBash Factory is now issuing badge 3.0, and OpenBash Passport is now supporting badge 3.0. Well, should we be worried? I would say no, because basically the concept by itself didn't change. Okay, so we are still speaking about issuing badges. Badge creators issue badges to badge recipients. The badge will be received by email like now. You can share your badge exactly in the same way that you have been sharing your 2.0 badges. You can put your badges in Open Badge Passport, and you can enrich your badge exactly in the same way. So let's say that for end users, this transition between 2.0 and 3.0 happened very much behind the scene. Okay. And the workflow is the same. What is interesting in this 3.0 version is the improvement of trust and security. So one big question that was recurrent during years. I remember in Berlin, I was in a conference in Berlin in 2015 presenting open badges. At this time, 2015, people didn't know about open badges, and it took always for one 30 minutes presentation, it took always 20 minutes to explain what is a badge, which was a bit frustrating. But but I have someone saying all the time, what is the credibility of the badge? What is the credibility of the badge? If anyone can create a badge, there is no official body behind the badge, and what can we trust basically badges? So now with the version 3.0 of the badges are signed. So there is a cryptographic signature of badges. They are, I would say, the level of security is much higher. So we could say they are tamper-proof, and so you can be sure that the badge will not be can't be modified. And what is interesting with this signature compared to the version 2.0 is for validating badges, the badge validation doesn't need anymore the badge issuing platform. So you know that with the version 2.0, basically the badge issuing platform like Open Badge Factory host the assertions that are basically needed for the verification. So the verification of the badge happens always against the data which is in the platform. But now with the 3.0, all the information, all the data needed for verification is inside the badge. Meaning that if you put your badge in a wallet, I will explain you a bit later about the wallet. If you put your badge in a wallet, you will not need any more Open Badge Factory for basically validating your badge. So this basically enhances also the portability of the badge, because with 3.0 there is a keyword which is wallets. So the idea that with this new standard, badges can be really moved from different system. They are not dependent on the platforms, and they can be received by recipient in different wallets. So we are speaking here in theory. I will tell you where we are about the practice. And one big element of this 3.0 badge is what we call the decentralized identifier, DID. So also the possibility with the 3.0 standard to basically issue badges, not only to an email address like now, but also to this kind of identity, which is basically, let's say, really owned by the owner of the badge. So meaning that if you lose your email address, or if you don't have any access to your inbox and so on, you will not lose this badge. So this DID is something which is very, I would say, central in this in the development of the standard. But as I will tell you later, we are not yet here, but we will see. So if we compare Open Badge 2.0 and Open Badge 3.0, so there will be for people who are being used about the terminology of 2.0 some slight changes. So An issue badge, it's in the version 2.0 of the badge was called assertion. Now the new terminology is achievement credential. So the achievement credential is the badge which is received by the badge recipient. So in Open Badge Factory, when you create a badge, you create what we call a badge class, which is basically the template that you use for issuing the badge. In the new terminology, we call it achievement. The recipient is now the credential subject. The identifier in 2.0 was mainly the email address. Now it can be the email address. We issue with Open Badge Factory 3.0 badges, but still to email addresses. But it will be possible soon to also issue badges to DID, so decentralized identity, or to other, let's say, identity solution. And with the version 2.0, we spoke about the backpack, which was a place where you can receive your badges. With the 3.0, we speak about digital wallets and digital wallets basically. And what is the main difference between, if you think about the big shift that this Open Badge 3.0 is doing, is that the Open Badge 3.0 is built on the W3C verifiable credential standard. So it's not only a question of bringing new, I would say, security level or more metadata fields to have a stronger structure. It's to basically to connect the Open Badge with the verifiable credential standard, to connect them with all the world and the ecosystem of all digital credentials in general, diploma, micro credentials, and so on. So that, in my opinion, that the big thing, it's not only, I would say, higher level of verification, but we are now, I would say, Open Badges are now coming out of its bubble, because it has been a niche until now, and going to a bigger global, I would say, ecosystem and world. So if you think about the standard, the Open Badge 2.0, it was basically what we call Open Badge specification. The version 1 and 2 stay in the same line, but the version 3 is basically from one totally different world. Okay, so as I explained, what makes this 3.0 so special? It's that it's founded on the W3C verifiable credential standard, and basically based on this, and because of this technical solution, it's also connected to a broader digital identity ecosystem. So what do I mean by digital identity ecosystem? So what is happening now in many countries is that the states are developing different kind of digital identity frameworks and systems for the citizens. So the idea is not, okay, we invite digital identity wallets for receiving digital credentials. It's not the priority. The priority is to basically provide this wallet for receiving, all these kind of official documents that you need to basically to share with officials, like, for example, your passport, your national identity card, your driving license. And then, of course, you could have also in these wallets micro credentials and open badges. Okay, so these wallets are basically supporting the verifiable credential standard, which means that it opened the door to open badges also. But it would not be right to say, okay, yes, the EU is inviting this this EUD wallet, because we want to be able to that our citizens receive basically digital badges in their wallets. It just, I would say, something which is coming also in this wallet. So what is interesting here, it's, as I say, perhaps it's taking the badges out of the niche. It means that in practice, let's say you are a citizen, you have your wallet, which can work a bit like in the same way than your Google wallet or your Apple wallet, but it's basically you get some identity verification from the EU or from your state, and you receive a badge from Open Badge Factory, and you can basically when you receive it, you can basically put it straight away in the place where you put all the other kind of documents that you want to store and to share. So it can be that this use case, I mean, the way to use badges basically could make badges more mainstream, because until now badges has been basically only received in system designed only for the education sector, so not really for citizens in general. Okay, now you can see that around the world we have many digital identity ecosystem, and I'll show here just a part of them. And in the left side, you see what is happening now in the EU. We have something which is interesting. We have, I would say, a three level, I would say, approach in the EU. So you have a policy in the EU that every EU citizen should be able to receive official documents in their wallet. So every citizen should have a digital identity wallet to share his document. Then there is, based on this policy, there is this eIDAS 2.0 framework. And based on this framework, then you have an implementation, technical implementation, which is EUD or EUDI wallet, which basically it's open source code, which now it's used in quite many countries to set up national wallets. For example, in Finland, they are just starting to basically roll out a national passport in Finland based on the EUD wallet. And as I said, in the EUD wallet, the first goal is not to get badges, but other kind of official document, but it's open to badges too. And then you can see that there is the same kind of evolution in many other states and in many countries, like for example in Singapore, in India, in Australia, they have already these wallets have been already rolled out. So let's say that it's interesting to see that basically we have the evolution of the 3.0. It's I would say we are lucky to have the 3.0, the verifiable credentials now for badges. At the same time, when at the global level, the states are opening this kind of services. Okay, so it's we have a good convergence, I would say, here. So now we could have a look on how it looks in Open Badge Factory. So in Open Badge Factory, there is no big change, but as you see here in the Open Badge Factory editor, you normally have the same kind of editor than before, but the administrator of the account can now add what we call achievement types, so kind of categories of badges. So the administrator decide, okay, I want to give this these terms here could be used by my badge creators when they create the badges. So you can select the words that you need. After that, you can also say, okay, we want to add also credits to this fields of study, some code, specialization, and so on. So it's what we call the additional fields of the 3.0 badge. And now you see, as a creator, you will see these fields in the editor of the badge, and then you can here add the information which is needed for these fields. So I don't go too much into details. The code is human code, meaning it could be a coarse code. The specialization means that in what I would say topic, what is the topic which is related to this badge, and so on. So okay, now that you can, the administrator can enable these additional fields for the badge creators. When you create a badge using these fields, and you receive the badge, for example, here in Open Badge Passport, you see that these additional fields are now in the badge. And what is interesting in Open Badge Passport, that you have also the achievement type search possibilities. That, for example, in this case, we search for a course, and you could find all the badges which are achievement type course, like, okay. So what I could say for this additional fields is basically this kind of data that you could have used before in your criteria page. You know, in the version number 2, you had the criteria, and you have it still. You could explain all these things in the criteria page. But what is interesting in this 3.0 that they are basically fields, so they are in the metadata of the badge. So you can search for badge using this data. The data is not in the criteria page itself. So it's more a structure. Okay, so one, I would say, small issue from Open Badge Factory point of view, we support, for us, badges are not only digital credentials, micro credential certificate. They are also a way to connect. They are connectors. They're a way to support, I would say, recognition and learning which happen in non-formal and informal context also. So as you can see here from the taxonomy, which came from the, I would say, the verifiable credential word in this option and fields in this achievement type, you can see that it's very formal. So let's say that here the education sector has been very much influencing and impacting the development of this strategy. But in Open Badge Factory, we decide, based on the experience and based on the use case of our customers, we decide to add different kind of new fields, not new fields, but new terms in this would say taxonomy. So you can see apply learning, engagement for experience, participation, role, self-assertions, and so on. And in the future, with our customers, we will go on in this direction. We will listen very much to our customer needs and say, okay, if a customer say, okay, we are really working with this and this and this, I would say recognition, we could add new terms also in this achievement type list. So what next? So let's say that what we have done, the first step in the implementation of the 3.0 badge, we are early adopters. So there are, I think for the moment, only 50% of the Open Badge platforms, the word that are basically implemented Open Badge 3.0. So we have done it with, I would say, as a really early adopter. But as many other platforms, the first implementation is that we basically issue badges that are 3.0 badges, and still we issue the badges using email addresses, but we are not yet connected to digital wallets. So it's the next step is the integration with the wallets, and it's coming very soon, but it's a step by step. And why? we don't have straight away, a lot of integration with this kind of wallet. It's because all the wallet world is for the moment really, I would say, under development. So the 3.0 is clear, the standard is clear, it's stable, it's official, but all what happened in the ecosystem is still changing, and there is still development to be done. So what is interesting for us is what is important, and we hope that it will be the case, that basically the wallets and the integration between the wallet and the badge platforms uh, will be done on few, I would say, interface system or few API. So one, I would say, possible issue is that if you have passports that are not standard and or use different kind of standards and so on, it will be very difficult for the badge platforms to basically integrate with this wallet. For the moment, there is clear sign that there will be this kind of, I would say, standard to also connect with this passport. For example, in the EU, it's clear that you have the EU DAI solution. It will be the same, basically the same protocol and the same, I would say, infrastructure for every state in the EU. But now you could have other countries using slightly different kind of technology, and this is what could require quite much work for the platforms to integrate. And if it's become too complicated, the platforms will not do it. So that's an interesting question. I can say that we will do it. I mean, that's something which is sure. But what is needed here, it's not only, I would say, a good maturity at the technical level, but also we need also collaboration. So if you think about the potential users of this wallet, they will not be interested in this wallet if they have nothing to put in the wallet. So here, I think different kinds of service providers, different kind of organizations should work together so that the use of the wallet would be interesting for the end users. And so at the end, of course, the users will decide if do they want to use wallets or not. Because with badge platforms, you can also use the badges without wallets. So basically, you can take the display link of your badge and share it tomorrow in LinkedIn, or now in LinkedIn. So this is something which is interesting. One other interesting question is also what will be the role of Google and Apple, for example, because they are already used for many purposes. You can pay, you can put your credit cards in this wallet. So for the moment, we don't have clear sign yet that they are open to verifiable credentials. But if they are, in the future, it could be a place where people want to put their badges. So it's interesting to see what will happen, but I would say that I'm quite optimistic about it. It will take several years, that's sure, but I'm quite optimistic. So, do we still need open badge passport? That's a big question. Then some customers asked this question. I think a week ago when we discussed about this digital wallet. Well, Eric, if there is this great digital wallet, in Finland or in the EU or Canada, why should we use OpenBash Passport? Well, in fact, there are two different things. So if I compare a bit this digital wallet, as I said, this digital identity wallet are very much focusing on digital documents like ID cards, passport, driver's license. So they are basically they are repositories or different kind of proof, you know. The Open Badge Passport is designed for being the scope is the learning. It's a place for learning credentials, for badges, micro credentials, certificates, and so on. So it's related to education, basically. The repository, the secure storage of the documents is the primary purpose for the digital wallet. For the passport, it's a learning and development platform. It's the idea is to showcase achievements, to build portfolios, to have an interaction between the badge recipients, to have endorsement, and I would say kind of a community level or yeah, in the passport. So if you think about all the social features, which are great because they help our badge recipients to put the badge in action. It's what I always say about Open Badge Passport, that it's not enough to receive a credential. I mean, you should really use it, put it in action, enrich it, and so on. But you don't have social features in the digital wallets. We don't have learning features. Digital wallets are for individuals. They are very they are like safes. They're closed. In Open Badge Passport, you have the interaction between the users. You can have the peer endorsements. You can also, in the spaces, you can scaffold different kind of learning activities which are supporting with badges. So we will definitely push in the future also in the development of Open Badge Passport. And the idea, okay, as a learner, you could use Open Badge Passport in a space. You could be in kind of, I would say, a learning program. But the idea that, of course, from the Open Badge Passport, you could get your badges in your digital wallet easily. And why not from your digital wallet to put your badges also in digital passport? Well, they are basically complementing, basically, they are complement each other, but they serve a bit, I would say, different needs. So what about the further development? So as I said in my presentation, during the presentation, Open Badges from the very beginning, from the 2012, when we spoke about, I would say, the Mozilla Foundation, first approach about the badges. Badges are more than certificates. They are connectors, okay? They are communication tools. The important is not to get only a learning record and to put it somewhere in a safe. The important thing is to make your learning, your skills, your abilities, achievement visible. And that when you get a badge, if you want to get the full, I would say, potential of it unleashed, you basically you share it. You use it for showing what you can do. So we will still push very much in this direction to support, to empower issuers and recipients really to put their badges in action. Because there is a lot of things that can be done, and our customers have very interesting use cases with very interesting needs about supporting learners in different kind of pedagogical context and so on. But still, of course, we will focus also on the development of the integration between OBF, OBP, and digital identity wallets. That's sure that it will be one priority. In the OBF side, we will improve also all the features that are supporting different learning and recognition needs. For example, badge applications, which are, I would say, very strong features a very strong feature. Sorry, in OpenBatch Factory, we are going to further develop it to support new use cases, to make them a bit more, I would say, attractive also and powerful. And we are also going to develop the improvement of batch sharing features, because OpenBatch Factory is also a platform which very much supporting networks. It's not only for, let's say, individuals, it's for all network. You can share badges with your partners. You can get endorsement from your partners. So OpenBatch Factory can support ecosystems, I would say, and we will focus also on UX and accessibility. So that's our agenda for OpenBatch Factory in general. For OpenBatch Passport, we have already started a major, I would say, UX project to redesign Factory, OpenBatch Passport, sorry, and to improve the user experience. And in OpenBatch Passport, we have the spaces, which are also, I would say, interesting, provide interesting features for scaffolding learning. And let's say that we have already customers using spaces, and we see that there is a great future for spaces. So we are going to push a lot of also in the development of spaces. Okay, thank you very much. I think that I'm in time. I saw Emily would meant that.
In time.
Yeah.
I
was on time.
All the questions in the chat, Eric. We have a few questions.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, about achievement types and wallets.
Okay, sorry. So you are sharing now.
No, it's in the chat. I can tell you the question if you want.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps if you can tell me the question.
I have a question from Lucy asking, if we don't populate these 3.0 fields, what is the impact on compatibility with national identity wallets if we don't populate?
What do you mean by not populating? Because basically we populate them. So if these fields, additional fields are added, sorry, in the badge, they will be the metadata of the badge. So normally that they should be seen also in a wallet that can basically display verifiable badges. Okay, so they are standard fields, but they are optional. So you don't have to use them, but you can use them. Yeah.
Okay. And a question from Richard: why not allow us to specify new achievement types? Why do we need OBF control here?
No, it's not OBF. Yeah, well, OBF control. It's not really OBF control. It's what has been provided by the standard developers. So I don't know. Perhaps
the new one for the new ones.
Yeah, for the new one. Yeah. So that's an interesting question. I don't know really if we can do it, but basically the idea of this, I would say, metadata that you can add to the badge to achievement type. So the idea that is machine readable, the badge is machine readable, that you can make search using a common taxonomy, or So if everyone is pushing his own terminology, at the end it will be very difficult to to match things. You know what I mean? So that's why it's yeah. It could be possible to add fields. So for each account that someone could add its own fields. But as I say, it's interesting for a micro level. It could be interesting, but it will not be interesting at macro level. At micro level, it means that it would be very difficult to find any badge based on the achievement fields.
Yeah, but we will listen to customer feedbacks here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And there's another question, but not sure I understand. What about the keyword translation issues if this is a closed list? Not sure. I get the point here. Maybe
Well,
you can jump.
about what?
Keyword translation issues. Maybe Richard, you can raise your question here if you are still here.
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand what you're saying, that this is a kind of standard list. So if it's a standard list, I understand that translation is already also will be standard but you confused me because you said that OBF added some items that were not in the original specification. So it seemed to me that this was kind of more homemade. If it's not homemade, it's standard. What is the standard? Which list are you using? And this is a sub-selection of a bigger list, I imagine.
No, so we are using the taxonomy which has been given by the standard, okay? Plus, it's a possibility in the standard to add extensions, okay? So we use the extension to add new terms or more, terminology. And the problem here is that this taxonomy is, I can say it's not very good. So it's a bit, I would say, even disappointing for formal, for the education sectors. For example, you have diploma. I'm not sure that even university would like to connect, digital credential with diploma. So it's a bit like carrots and potatoes. Everything has been pushed in the same taxonomy. And so what we can do is we can use this extension possibility in the taxonomy to add new words which are supporting our customer needs. But it's very difficult to make something very smart because the starting point is not very smart. You know what I mean? So it's it's kind of a legacy of what has been pushed in the. But it can be a nice, interesting discussion for the standard developers. So why is this taxonomy? It's basically, in my opinion, if you see this taxonomy more in details, it has been pushed by the higher education sector and the different kind of, would say, training organizations. So even learning management system has been pushing their own, I would say.
Where can we see, Eric, where can we see this list, this taxonomy?
You can see it when you go to OpenBash Factory in the admin.
No, I can see it there, but that's the interface for setting it. I mean, where can you see the documentation about
the documentation
on the website? We can share it with you.
Yeah, the documentation is in one EdTech, the 3.0 standard presentation. So you will find it there when you go to.
Okay, thank you.
EdTech site. Okay.
And we had also one question still from Richard about Europass. Maybe you can continue, Richard. With your
Well,
question.
yeah, I mean, I'm a bit ignorant about this, but I understand because you're talking about EU, well, OD wallet is a very general container, a repository, and it seems to, I don't know about this, but it seems to be oriented more to identity documents and things like health cards, passports, digital ID,
Yeah.
and Europass is oriented more to curriculums and academic achievements. But here in Spain, where I work, where everybody's talking about Europass at the moment, and nobody is talking about the wallet. This might be because I work in a university. I don't know. But is there can you tell me about the relationship? Because as I understand it, they're both kinds of wallet. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, basically there is a connection here, but let's say that the digital wallet, the EUDI, it's just, as you say, it's more generic. Okay, so you can receive everything. Basically, you want digital credential, your passport. You can put them in your own wallet. As you know, the Europass is basically a portfolio where you can put different proof of your learning, and there is also a model. So basically, the Europass, the European, I would say, credential model, and Open Badge 3.0 are on the same line. So we are speaking, they are compatible, okay? But I didn't test yet, but it should be possible to put 3.0 badges also in Europass. But what is about Europass is more about, I would say, adding specific categories about the credentials, which are basically defined by the EQF. So the idea that you have the credential, let's say the 3.0 the credential, they are also verifiable credential. They're supporting the same standard, but basically in the Europass, you add to your credentials this kind of let's say categories of information or criteria which are basically coming from the European qualification framework. So I've been discussing in a year, 1 year ago with one tech representative from US, and I asked him, so what is the connection between the 3.0 standard and the I think that it was the ECDI. I think it's the European credential model. And he say, well, it's just a question of mapping. So they can easily, basically, with some mapping, have a 3.0 badge transfer or you know modify or transfer or how you say translated to this kind of European credential that can be basically used in the Europass. So we are speaking about the same thing, but the Europass is bringing, I would say, the European competency framework. So, and it's the starting point when you are building your credential. And I would say that the 3.0 is more generic level standard. It can be that in the future we will have in Open Badge Factory to have one button to click. Okay, do you want to make it in the European credential model, or do you want to use the standard 3.0 badge? Very good questions. Do you have any other questions?
I don't see other questions in the chat, at least. No.
Okay. So let's see. As I say, well, there is for us, it has been a big work. I mean, it's not easy because the standard from the structure of the standard, all the tech behind it has been totally different. But what we had in the version number 2. So it has been a big effort, not only for Open Badge Factory, but also for many other badge platforms that are adopting this standard. I'm quite confident now for when we were speaking about the value that the standard itself is providing, the potential. But now this value proposition will be, I would say, connected to or depend on how the integration with the wider ecosystem will be basically done. And it will probably take some time. We have already plans for implementing, I would say, for connecting Open Badge Passport with the EUDI European passport, because we have many customers in Europe. It's not the only one, but we have many customers in Europe, and we happen to have in Finland a very, I would say, dynamic project now about this passport. So it will be interesting for us to use it as a proof of concept, and integrating with this Finnish, I would say, European passport is also interesting for us, because it means that our solution will be standard for every other country's let's say passport. But as Richard, I mean, it was a good question. We have also to consider I would say, the connection with the Europass, which is definitely something which is in some countries is quite important. Okay. Any questions? No?
No.
Yeah. Okay. If not, thank you very much, and that you have been to the end. I hope that it gave you enough information and that you know now more about 3.0. But as I say, well, there is a potential, but no reason to be worried. And you can always use OpenBash Factory and OpenBash Passport in the way you have been using them before. But yeah, there is an interesting potential. In my opinion, perhaps the most important thing that OpenBash could now come out of the, I would say, the education sector area and be more, I would say, usable and visible also for citizens. It's always a question that if you have organization issuing badges for teachers, for example, teachers will have, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 badges, and they will say, okay, we can use OpenBash Passport, that's great, and so on. But if you are going to some, I would say, event and you get one badge, then it could be very nice just to put this badge on your digital wallet, and you don't need to go to any learning platform or to any backpack or passport for one badge. Thank you very much.